And welcome to our first attempt of virtual programs. I'm Cassie Olson, Game Fish and Parks Program Coordinator at Pelican Lake, Sandy Shores, and Lake Cochran Recreation Areas, as well as Hartford Beach State Park. During this unusual time, I want to provide you and your family with fun, educational, and hands-on activities so that you can all do it together. Through the course of this lesson, I'm going to ask lots of questions. Feel free to pause the video and take time to talk through those questions as we go. Once we've completed the video portion of the lesson, there will be a link attached to the post where you can find additional activities and worksheets. These activities that we'll be doing will be using things that we can find all throughout our own homes. I'll also post sources of the information that I used in case you want to expand your knowledge even more. Every morning through Friday, I'll post a different lesson. After each lesson, I'm going to challenge you to a different outdoor activity right in our own backyards. Let's get started. Have you ever heard an animal howling at night? It maybe sounded something like this. So it was likely a coyote. A coyote's howl can be heard up to 3 miles away. That howl is one of the many ways that coyotes communicate with each other. Coyotes belong to the dog family, also called the canine family. The members of this family communicate by barking, whimpering, growling, and howling. Coyotes are known to make 11 different sounds. What are some of the other critters that live in the dog family? The most common critters that live in the dog family in our area are, of course, the coyote, the wolf, the fox, and the domestic dog. The wolf is the biggest species of the dog family and can weigh up to 115 pounds. But we don't see them often around here. Why do you think that is? Coyotes and wolves do not tend to live in the same area because they both compete to eat many of the same foods. We will get to their food in a little bit, but for now, what about the fox? South Dakota has 3 different species of fox: the red fox, the gray fox, and the swift fox. A fox is a bit smaller, weighing in between 6 to 15 pounds. As we talked about before, that the wolves and the coyotes don't typically live together, fox and coyotes have a similar trend. Where there are lots of coyotes, there are fewer fox. This is again typically due to competition. Look a lot like domestic dogs that we have as pets. This is Wrigley, my 18-week-old black lab. Though she's related to coyotes, this sweet girl has many different traits. Coyotes are about the size of a German Shepherd, so slightly bigger than little Wrigley's going to get, but they are much leaner, only weighing between 20 to 50 pounds, and 50 pounds is a really big coyote. Riggs has a lot of growing left to do, but she's already weighs about 30 pounds. While I have her here, check out these paws. She has yet to grow into these things, but she will. When looking at tracks from critters in the dog family, we can always tell that they are in fact dogs. Dog tracks will have claws in them, where other big critters that would have prints similar, like cats, have no claw marks in their tracks. There is, however, one exception. Can you think of a member in the canine family that can retract their claws? The swift fox. We can also tell the difference between a domestic dog track and a coyote track just by looking. Coyotes have slender back pads right here, where domestic dogs have a bit rounder and more visible pad. Also, coyotes have larger front paws than back paws. Good job, Wrigley. Did you know that our furry friends like Wrigley were domesticated from wolves about 100,000 years ago? Coyotes have been on Earth for a long time. There's proof that dog-like mammals lived 55 to 38 million years ago. These animals may have been related to coyotes. In 1823, an explorer named Thomas Say was the first person to publish a description of coyotes. He named the animal Canis latrans, which means barking dog. At first, coyotes lived in the prairie and desert regions of North America. As settlers moved across the country, they killed many wolves. Wolves were predators of the coyote. Without wolves, coyotes could move safely from place to place, and now they're spread all over North America. Coyotes can vary in color from gray to brown with a big fluffy tail. Their fur is very soft, and it also often has black on the tips of it. Its long, thick fur helps protect animals from the cold. The fur will turn darker in the summer and light in the winter, which allows them to blend in with their surroundings. What do we call that again? Camouflage. There is currently a very high demand for coyote pelts. to make garments such as gloves, hats, coats, and blankets. So many people trap and hunt these animals to sell their fur. With a coyote being a natural, sustainable, and renewable resource, this could be a great way for you and your family to get outdoors and take part in trapping together. Like domestic dogs, coyotes have different fur according to the seasons. So they shed a lot in the summer and they look much smaller. This guy is shedding a lot right now. If you want to target coyote fur for its fur, you'll want to do it in the winter when the fur is the thickest and the most full. Coyotes also have pointed ears that help them hunt and avoid predators. They also have this long, narrow muzzle. Inside that muzzle is something called olfactory receptors. These smell receptors play a very important role in detecting different scents. Did you know that humans have 5 million olfactory receptors? How many do you think a coyote has? Coyote, along with many other members of the dog family, have 22 million olfactory receptors. They have an impeccable sense of smell. Guess how many a deer has? 297 million. That is more than 800 times as many olfactory receptors as we have. Back to coyotes. Olfaction, or the process of smelling, is the coyote's primary sense. The average sense of smell for a member of the dog family is 100 times better than ours. Have you ever seen the dogs that hang around with the cops and they help catch the bad guys? That's because some dogs can smell human fingerprints and odors that are up to a week old. Coyotes can be found all across North America, and they easily adapt to their surroundings. They live in forests, deserts, mountains, and cities. They love to hang out around farms and in cities. Why do you think that is? They hang out around farms and cities because it's so easy for them to find food. Speaking of food, what do you think they eat? Coyotes are omnivores, which means that they eat both meat and plants. Their main diet is made up of mice, small rabbits, birds, large insects, grasshoppers, and other rodents, but they also eat nuts and berries. If a coyote wants to catch a larger animal, such as a deer or a sheep or a cow, they may hunt in groups. The coyotes each take turns chasing the animal until it gets too tired. Let's take a close look at these two different skulls. Which of these do you think is a meat eater and which of these is a plant eater? Take a close look at their teeth. There's one and there is the other. This guy is the beaver. Notice the large front teeth of the beaver? They're very sharp. Do you see the orange up here? That is much harder than the inside surface. As the beaver gnaws, it makes the tooth sharper. A beaver's teeth are always growing, just like the hair on your head. So, gnawing keeps the beaver's teeth sharp. Have you guys ever had a hamster or any other rodent as a pet? If so, you may have noticed that they are always gnawing as well. This helps keep their teeth sharp and at the proper length. Now on to the coyote. We see that he has long, pointed canine teeth. What do you think they use those teeth for? They're about 1 inch to 1.5 inches long. They use these teeth to catch and eat their prey. Coyotes will cover about 2.5 miles of land every night as they hunt. They're also incredibly smart. They often watch the sky for circling birds. Birds will often circle the sky right above their food source. We've got Miss Wrigley back helping us out. Do you know where coyotes live? Coyotes bed in places that are sheltered from the elements. Wind, rain, snow, whatever South Dakota decides to throw our way. These sheltered areas are called dens. The female will build the den when she's raising her pups. A den is like a tunnel with a wide opening. That tunnel can be 5 to 30 feet underground. They'll often pile soil against the entrance of the den to keep predators out. Sometimes they'll even have more than one den or additional entrance. Why do you think that is? Sometimes if a predator will come by, coyotes will move to different dens. If it's undisturbed, the coyote will use the same den for many years. Where did you find a coyote den? Coyote dens can be found all over. Generally, they're at the base of a hollow tree or between rocks, but we often see them on the side of a steep hill. Many people think that coyotes should be eliminated. What good things might happen if there were no more coyotes? Many domestic livestock and poultry would not be killed or eaten by them. But now what about the bad things? What might happen if there were no more coyotes? Look at what they eat. Coyotes eat a lot of rodents. Those rodents would increase and they would damage many more crops, gardens, and trees. Though coyotes can cause issues in different ways, they do play a very important role in our ecosystem. Here's a few facts for you to take home with you. Coyotes can live in nature between 8 to 10 years. They generally have 3 to 7 pups at a time, but they can have up to 12 in one litter. Coyotes mate in February or March, and it only takes 2 months later until the pups are born. Coyotes are nocturnal. Can you tell me what that means? It means that they're most active at night, but we often see them at dusk and dawn. A coyote has strong legs and can run 25 to 40 miles an hour. The term coyote is Spanish and comes from the Aztec word coyoto. The coyote is South Dakota's state mammal. Can you tell me what a mammal is? A mammal has fur. They're warm-blooded, they drink their mother's milk, and they give live birth. Why do you think that the coyote is South Dakota's state mammal over other critters? The coyote's ability to adapt is one of its greatest skills. The coyote can change its breeding habits, diet, and social dynamics to survive in a wide variety of habitats. That resilience is why the coyote was adopted as South Dakota's official state mammal. Now that you're all full of knowledge on coyotes, it's time for our daily challenge. For today, I challenge you to go outside and collect a few things that you find unique, like stones, leaves, and twigs, to create a coyote track. Remember, a coyote has 4 clawed toes on each paws. They also have a 5th toe on their front feet called the dew claw. Grab a piece of paper or a piece of cardboard and glue them on it in the shape of a paw. Once you've tried, take a picture of it and send it to our Facebook page. Once you've sent it, you'll be entered in a drawing for a prize that'll be announced at the end of the week. I sure hope you've all learned some cool facts about South Dakota's state mammal, the coyote. If you have any additional questions or information, please shoot us a message on Facebook. Just a reminder that our state parks are open. Come out and enjoy the trails and fresh air. We encourage you to get outside and enjoy your state parks during this social isolation. See you tomorrow.